Okay, so I have figured out something else. So, first on the origin of the Brotherhood. These are all the symbols. Out of the symbols I found, I did not see this around at all. I saw these three, but I could be missing other stuff, and what I mean by that is that there's other stuff in here. Hold on, let me find it. So, here, this is a circle. Clearly that is a circle with 4 black dots next to it. That might mean that this is the 4th button we push. There was another one. Here. This is also a circle, but then there's 2 black dots. So, this might mean that this is the 2nd one that we push, and also the 4th. I found another one here. So, this is the 3rd that we push. And I think... where was it? Was it this one? Sorry, I don't remember which one exactly it was. Oh, shoot, there it is. Okay, so that's the 6th one we push, then. Okay. Oh, wait. There we go. So, first one. First one is this one. Second one is circle. Third one is square. Again. Third one is square. 4th is circle again. And then there's 2 that are missing that I haven't found yet. And they must be in these somewhere. Somewhere in here they exist. Somewhere. And I just need to find these last few things and I'll be able to get this open. If I'm understanding this correctly anyway. Okay. Oh, okay. Weird. Interesting. The inhabitants of London live in fear of physicians, delayed interventions, barefaced favoritism, and strange experimental treatments. The scarcity of professionalism is crystallized in Pembroke Hospital, Whitechapel, where deontology was discharged a long time ago. The Pembroke administration hides behind a facade of dedication and rectitude, but those of us who know any of their patients or worse were among them are aware of their deceit. In this temple devoted to dread, you will have to pay to get a bed. You will catch illnesses you never knew existed, and your corpse will be relieved of its positions in the morgue area. Here, patients die overnight of wounds they never bore upon their arrival, and they call them accidents. I briefly interviewed Dr. Swansea, head of administration, to claim to pedantic timor mortis conturbat me, fear of death confounds me, before forcing us out of the establishment. Quotes in Latin will not be enough to keep us away from the morbidity. Volunteers are welcome to join me tomorrow morning in front of the hospital to demand clear facts about the state of the medical institution. Come in numbers. Ah. Okay. I went to bed because I wasn't sure what was going on here. Okay, nothing seems to be happening. Something has happened here. Oh, okay, that's all that it is. It still seems fine, though. Oh, why did everyone here get sick? Okay, I think that... Okay. Because it's been a minute, and... he is dead, so everyone's getting sick in here very quickly. So I will go around healing everyone in order to deal with this. Okay, I will do this. I will. Let's go talk to our friend. He has things to say, so we're talking to him.
Jonathan, my dear.
And he looks pretty sick.
Thank me. For what?
Come now, you know what I mean. I am... well, I'm just like you.
I'm glad you like it.
How could I not be happy? You offered me the ultimate freedom. More than I ever could have dreamt of.
Have you news of Geoffrey McCullum? I'm sure both of you would have quite an interesting discussion after recent events.
He left the hospital without being treated for the severe beating you gave him. We'll meet again soon enough.
Do you not think he will kill you where you stand?
Funny you should mention it. I asked him once what he would do if I were a vampire. He said he would give me an hour for old time's sake.
Alright.
How do you feel since you changed?
Absolutely fine. Did you know I can determine the health of every patient or nurse just by looking at him? Fascinating.
Have you taken a life yet, Edgar?
Don't you think that's a private matter? I would not ask you such an indiscreet question.
Do you feel the hunger?
Yes. It's very peculiar, not like mortal hunger at all. It's like I'm never sated. Fortunately, blood is no rare commodity at Pembroke.
What will you do now that you are immortal?
Experiment, my dear colleague. I have an eternity to make scientific progress. I could be the only scientist able to undertake extreme experiments upon himself.
My God, Edgar. Did you learn nothing from your forays into folly?
I have, I swear. No more experiments on mortals. See? I said mortals. How quickly the mind adapts.
What kind of experiments?
Who knows? Nervous shock, brain damage, pain and recovery. There's almost no limit to what my body can now endure. I could be the next Henry Head.
I don't know what that means. I don't think it's good.
Will you continue as Pembroke's administrator?
Of course. I can help more than ever. And since I'm already dead, I can't get sick.
Are you not afraid Priwen will find you? Next time, they will do more than abduct and torture you.
I remain a man of peace. If things were to go awry, I would flee rather than slice them up as you would, my friend.
Have you seen Elizabeth? Has she passed this way since you returned?
No. And I'm terrified to see her again. I really am, Jonathan. She could very well tear me to pieces for what I did.
Goodbye, Edgar. I'm certain we'll meet again.
Well, that happened. Okay. So I'm gonna go around and try to collect pieces of things that I missed. The collectibles, because the collectibles might have important things for the thing that I'm trying to open, so I'm pretty sure that I've just missed a few. Before I go further, I don't want to, like, miss it. Anyway. Oh, got something. The Lost Library. Do vampires have allies among the living? Yes, they do. They call themselves the Brotherhood, and they serve their immortal masters in many ways, probably in exchange for privilege and knowledge. Somewhere in London is the seat of their power, where their secret council conspire against us. I call it the Lost Library. It's a place where these traitors gather occult and lost books. I personally offer £1,000 the first who can give me proof of the existence of this library, and its exact location. Well, okay. Ah, here's something. It has been established for some time now that Skal is the vernacular name of a different species of lesser blood drinkers. Skal often seems to be the victim of a vampire attack who miraculously survived the death and came back as a crooked version of its maker. According to many observations made by our order throughout the centuries, Skals are generally despised and killed by vampires, who consider them lesser and despicable creatures. The name itself means slave. They also have been called Sakaliba, Sclavius, or Sclavinoi. This shows how old these creatures are and how their makers perceive them. This may be why skulls often tend to form small and discrete communities that stick together. It's also interesting to know that skulls seem to call themselves this way, as if they have accepted for a long time their status as inferior servants among vampires. It's more difficult for a skull to hide its monstrous nature. Pale skin, terrible teeth, strange emaciation, dilated and staring pupils. Many have lost all hair, and they show wounds and scars which stay open without ever completely healing. They also seem capable of surviving by eating flesh of the dead, while vampires need blood from the living. They may be the real origin of the mythical figure of the ghoul, folkloric creature who lurk in cemeteries and feed from the dead. Skull is a miserable creature most of the times they fear to be seen by both humans and vampires. In some regions, older skulls have been witnessed by nearby vampires as servants or as slaves, obtaining protection by sacrificing their freedom. Most skulls are descended from echons and show humanoid silhouettes. Much more uncommon, some present a more canine aspect and behave like wolves. They are sometimes called vulpes in ancient texts. At least a third type exists in the shape of a bird, of bat, and they are called corvus. William Russell himself referred 3 times to some bat-shaped creatures he called vampire in his memoirs. Other types may exist, unknown or unidentified for now. Interesting. Oh, and look, there is a thing here. So that's 5. I think that might be the missing piece. Let me look, though. Okay. So, I think, as long as there aren't, like, more than 6 of these things, I think I know how to get this open. Okay, so first is this one. Second is this one. Third is this one. Fourth is this one. Fifth is this. And this is 6. Hey. Reckless of Paulus Aurelius, whatever he is, to many of my legates, or any clever stranger who would one day decipher the code leading to the parchment, this was not written for you, but for me. As the founder of the Brotherhood of St. Paul Stoll, I had many names and too long a story. These few lines are meant to remember who I was, what choices I made, and why I did what I chose to do. To never cease to inquire about immortals, to firmly banish any of them who would prove evil. Though my centuries of my long life, I've been given many names and many titles, but I remember being born on a beautiful island of Albion. I forgot the precise date, but I was told it was during the summer of the first quarter of the 5th century after the birth of the Christian Messiah. I vaguely remember my mother's voice, as sweet as fresh honey, when she sang to my older brother and me. She named me Paul, and my brother Emrys. My father was a strong knight of the kingdom of Penichen. I think I had a happy childhood. I learned to read, and I was taught by wise men. Then the Saxons came, and all was lost. The invaders came from east and took the land. That was before the false prophet, now known as the Horned Trickster, presented himself in front of King Gruthigrin to foresee the fight of the red and the white dragons, and the defeat of our people. His words were so powerful that the king made him his advisor. As soldiers, as warriors, my father and I and my brother had no choice but to stand by their king and fight. As a priest, I was free to choose another path. After the death of our mother, I led the exile of my people. I led them across the sea, the young, the old, the sick, to the islands of Ushant and Bats, to the city of Osismore, where we had to learn new languages, and in all these places I went, I spoke the truth and the true faith. And I spoke about the devil and the crooked horns. With the years, I almost forgot about the face of my mother and the forests of my youth, about the fall of our land and the death of my relatives. I had so much to accomplish. I was a bishop, and I had a flock to guide. My eyes looked to the future. I forgot how to remember my previous life. I was old and at peace, and my brother Emrys found me, many years after his tomb had been sealed. I saw his dead flesh walk towards me in the dim light of the evening, and his rotten mouth spoke ill of me. He called me a traitor, for I had fled the land of our ancestors while he remained to fight. The trickster was his master now. He had granted him a natural and prolonged life. I called my own brother the son of the dragon, and a dragon himself, for that was what he had become. But he refused to listen. He wanted me to join him and help him protect Albion, to unite our people again in the next battles to come, to achieve victory. He offered me everlasting life. As I refused, he attacked me, and his fangs and claws went deep into my flesh. Finally, I managed to bind him with my stole, and the power of God struck him. And I sent him away, back to the sea and to the shadows, forbidden to ever come back. This is the true story of my brother and of my stole. This is how we were both defeated. For my words did not convince him, and his bite corrupted me. Soon I died, and I rose from my grave to forever walk under the clouded moon. I drank the blood, I changed my face. For the crime I had committed upon my own kin, I swore to go back to Albion. There I would watch and protect the land in my own way, strengthened by my faithful but blinded by the sun. Out of weakness I would make strength, a ray of hope in the darkness for the centuries to come. Under many disguises among the livings, bound to my oath to protect the living from the threat of the dragons, and ready to ban any of them who would prove evil. So what is this? Incense sword with Latin phrase engraved on the blade. It has been forged in Wales during the 6th century and belonged to Paulus Aurelius, founder of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole. Legend says he had this blade forged before he chose the path of exile and left England with his people. Dragonbane has been passed to each new primate of the Brotherhood and may have been used in secret ceremonies. When a primate was sent on the path of war to defeat a hostile creature, the sacred sword was supposedly lost during the schism between the Brotherhood and the Guard of Prewin in the middle of the 19th century. It seems a few copies may have been made, but this is the true and original Dragonbane. Interesting. So I can upgrade this, making it faster, more damaging, absorb blood points, damage, 230 some damage, plus whatever other damage it might do. I should upgrade this and see what it does. Okay. I want to try this out. Before I do that though, this has to happen. I like it. It's faster. I think it does a similar amount of damage. It might do a little bit less damage than my other one does, but it definitely attacks faster. Plus I can switch to the other weapon now if I wanted to as well. Okay. Let's further the plot along a little bit. Whoop. Alright. We're doing it.
What good fortune brings you back to me, Jonathan? What is it, my dear?
I'm afraid it's bad news, Elizabeth. The worst, actually.
Please, speak up.
Edgar is no longer in McCullum's grasp. I resolved that matter.
Where is our good friend now? Is he well?
Of a sort. His injuries were mortal. I had no choice but to make him one of us. To save him. Or to punish him.
To punish him? I fail to understand. And what is the source of this cold tone in your voice?
Edgar Swansea was responsible for the Skal epidemic, Elizabeth. It was he who unleashed the deadly scourge upon London.
What? Are you certain? This is the most terrible accusation of all.
He confessed everything to me. He sought to cure the disease, to exploit vampire blood to stop the epidemic. But he unwittingly gave birth to a catastrophe.
All those poor victims. How could he do it? What happened?
Edgar gave no heed to ethics. His theory could have been proven to be correct, but he abused the confidence of his patients to test it.
I must say I'm shocked, Jonathan. Who would have thought it? And the poor patient. Let me guess. It was Harriet Jones, was it not?
Yes. That explains how Doris Fletcher was infected, and how she became an Icor. She secretly visited her mother at Pembroke.
Then we have no choice. We must act quickly, Jonathan. We must return to the sewers and put an end to the threat poor Harriet embodies.
I have one more matter to discuss with you. Harriet Jones was the primary case, but do you know what a healthy carrier is?
There is a tone in your voice that frightens me, Jonathan. What are you trying to say?
It was your blood Edgar used for his experiment on Harriet Jones.
What? No. No. This can't be. Oh,
Elizabeth, are you all right?
no, I have to go.
What do you mean?
Leave me alone. Save the city, Jonathan. Save what can be saved.
Elizabeth, I need answers. Why did your blood
Stay
cause
away
this?
from me. Please. I swear I never was your
Wait!
enemy.
No! Elizabeth!
Aww. Well, she broke your painting. And then she just sort of left out the window. Which is a very quick way to leave any sort of social consideration. So you're in a social situation you don't want to be, just leap out the window. Dissolve into shadows and go away. That seems like a normal, healthy response.
Recipe Marshall used when he fought the disaster. I think I know where to find what I need.
So I wonder if she is like she obviously has to be the source of the epidemic on some level, but she's not unhealthy with it because she's a vampire, so she's stronger. But if it was infected with a skull, then yeah, those are problems. So I'm heading here.
Whose
first.
blood could be purer than that of William Marshall? Lord Redgrave will have to spare me a drop.
Women die too in this
Yep, we're gonna go here first. So just in case, I'm gonna use this because this still does more damage. But this is good backup. The shotgun actually does a huge amount of damage. Oh,
Sir, you are not welcome.
well, that's interesting. Fine, you're not welcome here. I'll find some other way to find you. It just, I guess I can go around the back and be annoying. I'm already here anyway, so I might as well just be an annoying idiot. And... Hey dude, I'm knocking on your doors. All of them. Go in here. I'm breaking in. Can't stop me. Ah, see? I can break in. Hi, kitty. Hi. Hi. Yes, I know. Okay.
I'm still persona non grata in the Ascalon Club. If I want to speak with Lord Redgrave, I'll have to improvise.
We'll just fight them.
This is now my domain, young Ekon.
That worked out pretty well. What? What? Oh, shush. Shush. Not one yo. Kitty wants to play. Kitty thinks that she can be a better vampire than me. What? Yeah, you're being cuddly. She wants pets. She does. Let's see. Oh, whoops. That's the one door I didn't need to use. Have I been in here before? Oh, there's a person. Hey. The Ascalon Club is an association of gentlemen secretly aiming for the protection of the Crown's interests. Founded in 1837 to honor and perpetuate the legacy of my maker, William Marshall, the Earl of Pembroke and true protector of England. All members of the club must be of good extraction and flawless moral fiber. Since the club accepts mortal members who will be duly observed and valued as prosper candidates for immortality, the goal of the club is to impose respectable traditions and behaviors amongst the good vampire society, but also promote and expand the imperial hegemony of England. We are truly to British society, we are Ascalon, the Holy Lance held by St. George's, protector of England when the saints slew the dragon. As lance bearers ourselves, we vow to defend the Empire's interests. Okay. Sure. Oh. Ooh, where are we now? I'll get to Redgrave in a minute. This is more interesting. Ooh. On the recreational use of blood. As Ascalon members, we always tend to respect etiquette. We are, in all ways, members of the good society. Sometimes recognized as public figures, we do not find our delight in orgies and bloodbath, like our adversaries assert we do. And if one of us were caught in such caricatured and immoral act, we would receive the appropriate opprobrium. But what about the blood? What about its recreational use? How could we deny the ecstasy of vermilion ambrosia brings us? And with what else could we toast with, as any good fraternity should? To answer this delicate question, the law of conduct inside the club goes as follows. As long as the original mortal vessel is not brought inside our walls, its members are allowed to drink whatever they want. For his own usage, to share it with friends, drink what you want. Do the way you want with the original vessel, but never inside the club. Unless I personally authorize it on some special occasion, of course. Oh, I got all the things. That's cool. Alright. Okay. What? Oh, he's moved. Hi. I'm invading your home.
Lord Redgrave.
What are you doing here, traitor? I shall smite you for this audacity.
I'm not here to bicker, Lord Redgrave. I can put an end to this epidemic, but I need your assistance to do so.
Good. We've held out thus far, but the time has come to put an end to this crisis. Tell me, what do you need?
The blood of William Marshall.
The blood of William Marshall? Of my maker? Are you mad? This blood is the purest of all. My maker proffered it to me on the battlefield. I cannot hand it to you.
This is more important than the club, you, or me. This is London's last hope.
I see. Well, in that case, given the gravity of the situation, I suppose I can spare you a drop.
Thank you, my lord.
If you manage to save this city, you'll prove yourself a veritable servant of the Crown. So Godspeed, Dr. Reed. Our fate lies wholly in your hands.
So you're just gonna forgive me for the fact that I didn't do the thing that you wanted me to do. He's just, you know, pretending because he knows he's been caught. He knows he's been caught out in the open and that if he pushes against us any further, he can't actually do anything, so, yeah.